My first tutorial, I'm going to show you my preferred method for winding lines. I'm going to start with the assumption that you have your lines out and connected to the kite, untwisted. And the first step to that is that we'll go ahead and land the kite inverted on the ground. So that'll be leading edge down, just like this. Once you have the kite landed on the ground, again, we have no twists in the lines, we're going to go ahead and stake the handles down. Now, there are a couple of different ways to do that. One is right through the center like this. You'll notice I have my right handle, my left handle, I overlap them, and I put the stake in the middle. I like this technique because it identifies the right handle from the left handle when I go away and come back. The other method as well that a lot of folks like to use is two handles over the same stake, and that's fine as well. So now that we have this portion staked, the kite again is leading edge down, it's driving into the ground. Because the handles are staked at the top, the kite is in forward drive, and so that will actually keep it on the ground, keep it from taking off. So now that we've done this, we'll head down to the kite end and start the actual winding process. Alright, so once more, we've got the kite leading edge down, handles are staked at the top, so the drive of the kite itself is keeping it on the ground. That's the safest position for the kite at all times when you're not actually flying it. Now for the winding process, we start of course by removing the lines. And in this instance, I'll start by removing the bottom line first, bottom in orientation to the kite. And then I'll remove the top line. Now the secret to a clean line winding process actually starts right here. So what I'm going to do is I'll demonstrate very clearly. We're going to Lark's head the top line directly onto the bottom line and slide it down to the knot. So what that's done is it's brought the bottom of the handle at the stake end out like this, and that'll come into play when we actually complete the winding process at that end. So let's go ahead and do the other side as well. Once more, starting with the bottom line. And then the top line. And what you'll find is I've released the lines as the kite is now relaxed and it just falls onto its back. Once more, we'll Lark's head the top line onto the bottom line and slide it down to the knot. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that I've kept a grip on these at all times, and that's simply to eliminate them twisting. Anything inadvertent, if you drop one end of the line, of course it has a tendency to rotate on its own. So what I've done again is just minimize the number of unexpected wraps. So for the actual winding process, we'll start with a typical card winder here. Finger in the hole, so I'm always holding the correct side of the winder. Sometimes I'll do a little figure 8 wrap right here just to get the knots out of the way. From there, I use a straight wind method. So winding straight, just like this, I'm spooling the line, spreading it out over the entire surface of the card winder itself so we have no uneven lumps. And I'm applying a little bit of tension as well so that the lines don't jump off the winder in loose fashion. So just like this, we'll wind all the way up to the handle end. Alright, so we've wound up most of the lines, and as I approach the handles here, you'll notice that specifically I actually come down to them. And the reason for that is I don't want the handles to come off the ground. Once they rise off the ground, they'll have a tendency to rotate or spin, and that of course adds unexpected twists. Once we're at this end, we remove the ground stake, wind down to the handles, and because we've pulled the bottom line out at the other end, it's pulled the bottom of the handles out as well. That allows me to put this very nice fold directly onto the winder. Once it's like that, put it in my bag, and then I can pull it back out and set up to fly. Now I do know that some folks, of course, have only one set of handles and a number of different sets of line. So I'll show you how to remove the handles at this end. Start by removing one line, then the other. So now at the kite end, once more, we Lark's headed the top line onto the bottom line. So in this case, because we're at the opposite end, I'm actually going to Lark's head the bottom line onto the top line. I know that's a little confusing, but again, by replaying this video, you'll see I've simply reversed what I did to start with. So there's one handle. Once more, removing the lines from the other side. And reversing what we did at the other end by Lark's heading the bottom line onto the top line. Slide it down to the knot. Once you have those done, wind all four up very smoothly, very calmly onto the winder. then use your bungee to lock those down. Now, it's very important to keep those loops locked down. If they do come out, they can, again, have that tendency to rotate. So now that I've done that, I can switch to another set of lines, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put the same ones back on. So once more, unwinding a little bit of length of line here. Simply separate the two pairs and reattach the lines. Now, one thing that I'll point out is that you'll notice that my bottom lines are black. The simple reason for that is that I find it's an easy analogy when I'm teaching new pilots. B for black, B for bottom. It's a great reference tool to remember which line belongs to which side. So I've gone ahead and reattached once more the light colored or red line to the top, black to the bottom. We'll repeat that on the other side. Black to bottom, red to top. I've got those set up. Once more, I'm staking the handles at the top here so that when I actually connect my kite upside down at the end of the lines, it's driven into the ground and it doesn't want to launch until I'm actually ready to do so. So now that I've got the handles reconnected and restaked, I'll simply stand up, set the handles at the end, and walk away like this. Again, because of the orientation of the handles, these lines are going to rock off all the way to the kite. All right, so now that I've arrived at the kite end, what you'll notice is that I separate the two pairs, I draw tension, and I simply pull them apart. Now, it's important to note that I do not pay attention to the wraps. There are a lot of what I would call pseudo wraps. Because of the nature of winding lines, what will happen quite often is that you'll end up with wraps one direction and wraps the other. So what you see may not actually be wraps. Best thing to do first is connect the lines to the kite. Now, you'll notice that I have the kite on the ground, belly up. It enables me to not fight the wind while I'm working with it. And of course, the bridle is exposed for easy addition of the lines here. Once more, red onto the top of the kite. Black onto the bottom of the kite. We'll repeat that with the other side. Top line. Then the bottom line. So now that I have all four lines on the kite, again with the handles staked at the top to create forward drive, I simply pull the kite out to the end of the lines and I let it sit like this. So no matter what wind you have, it's actually going to be set onto the ground. So now that we have the kite connected, I'm going to show you how to actually take care of whatever might appear to be wraps and whatever wraps might actually be in the lines themselves. All right, so now that we have the kite connected at that end, we've come back to the handle end, and once more, I'm going to point out the fact that when you wrap your lines and then unwrap them, it creates a lot of opposing twists. So they're not true twists as to say that these ends have actually rotated. It means that somewhere in the middle of the line, it's simply rotated like this, even though the other ends haven't moved. So the idea simply is that you don't want to start undoing any wraps that you think are there yet. You want to make sure you draw full tension into all four lines. So the way that I'm going to begin is I'm going to go ahead and pick up my handles, always in such a way that I'm prepared to control the kite. If it should launch unexpectedly, anything like that, I want to make sure that I have the right grip on the kite. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wag one bottom line, and that will shake or move the other side of the kite. So because it's upside down, if I wag my right line, then the left side of the kite should move once more because it's upside down. So now that I've identified the correct handles, I have them positioned correctly in my hands, I'm going to go ahead and draw tension into all four lines, and almost all my twists should come out. So now that I've done that, what I'll do is go ahead and launch the kite and land it upright. Now, having done that, I still have an individual wrap in my handles themselves. So you'll notice the way that I rotate the handle, always in such a way that I'm controlling the kite, I'm keeping it on the ground. If I turn this handle over and accidentally pull on one bottom or one top, it could take off or otherwise get out of control. So once more, I'm simply going to rotate the handles with great attention, make sure I get my wraps out, and I'm ready to go.